Hello, everybody. Welcome to another daily dose of gaming news and all that good stuff. And as always, I also publish on Rumble and on Patreon for extra support. And the kind of updates usually I go about on Twitter X. Yesterday, I didn't manage also to do any gaming news program. I've been a little bit busy this week. It might happen. We are getting a lot of stuff happening here in Dubai that increased a little bit my volume work, so it might happen from time to time, missing a day or so during the week. But yeah, in terms of other stuff here, in terms of updates, I did wrap up Jusa gameplay series, and I am on the background trying to record Claire Obscure Expedition 33, but it's a little bit of a trouble there. I will try to update, make a single video updating that situation in terms of crashes and freezes and some issues that people are having. I already did one that seems to solve most AMD GPU situations in terms of huge amounts of stutterings and to a certain degree low performance. But in my specific case, I think I might have found a solution. I just need to do some testing to see if it, at this moment, without any patching so far, regarding this situation, to see if I can manage to continue to record the gameplay series there on Expedition 33. Other than that, I will try to do that video as soon as possible, because I don't know how many people have a very similar situation to mine, even though this stuttering solution seems to be the one that solves a lot of issues that people are having with AMD GPUs. But yeah, other than that, yeah, let's go to the news. This one is from yesterday. It seems that this ASRock motherboards, even the higher end ones, are most likely to, or than other brands, to screw up AMD CPUs. We got another case from a 9000. I think this is a 9950X, if not mistaken, from Tekia CD. Yeah, 9950X. That it has some in the photos here. You don't see that well, but there is. I did manage to zoom in and the such. There is some like. I don't know. It's like a damage that you see usually when high voltages are in place to damage the CPU. So it does damage the contact on the CPU itself there. And there, again, some of them explode, deform on the wafer side of things on this side, depending on the situation. But this seems to be something that affects more all, at least 9000 that and even 7000 series. So basically any AM5 platform CPUs, and they seem to affect more independently of the CPU on ASRock's motherboards, which is leads to the belief, even though this is not officially investigated or not, but again, from the post that we've been seeing from a lot of people claiming that again their CPUs were dead. And they, again, usually they identify which hardware was at the place in time and usually what kind of situation did evolve to that breaking point. And it seems that it's all about the BIOS stuff on the motherboards in terms of software updates. But even though, again, especially with the 9800 XD, we've been seeing a lot of sales, and I said that might be something related to the CPU. We don't know, but it seems to point that there are some tweaks that can be made to resolve this situation. In terms, we suppose that it's more about the voltages and power delivery on the CPU side of things, from the motherboard to the CPU. There might be some issues there that might incur in some damaged CPUs. Again, this is not something that it's, let's say, widespread, given that there is a lot of 9000 and even 7000 CPU series out in the wild. I heard a report that for the last couple of years, for every Intel CPU sold, AMD has managed to sell around three AMD CPUs, which is something very stunning in terms of comparison, in terms of sales. So usually when you have huge amounts of certain hardware in the wild. Again, the law of proportions. Again, you will be seeing more situations like this appear because there is more hardware out there. And in this day and age, people are usually more aware of these kind of things and tend to report this situation. Usually it's on Reddit or any kind of forums that usually go about and trying to troubleshoot and get some opinions of what they should do in those cases. But yeah, it seems that again, especially from ASRock, we need to see what kind of things they should be doing to prevent this kind of situations here. In terms of Intel, again, regarding CPUs in the famously 13 and 14 gen cores, in terms of degradation, not all of the lineup, but the early batches, they seem to be marked with degradation issues. I think it has to do, I think in Arizona facility, they had the issue with the AC things and the increased levels of humidity, and that was, I think, was introduced on the wafer fabrication stuff of side of things, which leads to corrosion. I think that's the situation there. But yeah, they seemingly resolved the situation, or they say they resolved the situation November last year with the microcode update, but they now launch another one, an update to that famously microcode that supposedly solved that situation. Supposedly, this micro update and microcode will not influence performance, but again, given that the degradation of the CPUs was tied to a certain degree to the performance itself, so higher voltages to get more performance that will accelerate the degradation. And with this microcode, they try to ramp down a little bit or tone down the voltages and the frequencies of those CPUs to limit the acceleration of that degradation. But yeah, supposedly I think they launched this microcode without a lot of fanfare from what I see. But yeah, if you have one of these 13 and 14 gen CPUs from AMD, especially the higher end, which usually uses more voltages and demands more power, usually, especially on the unclocked ones, I do recommend you check out and see if you have at least the microcode updated there, because or else you might get a damaged CPU. And at this moment in time, given that we have this situation both with AMD, it's not that prevalent, but we got this situation again. For motherboards, I always recommend you getting the best price to performance motherboard that you can, but always take into account that the motherboard is basically the skeleton and to a certain degree heart and soul of your PC setup. So when investing on one, sometimes it might compensate to get a more prestigious brand. Always check reviews for the board that you think that it might be worth for you, to see if there are any kind of prevalent issues. And sometimes I also recommend you check out at least a Google search to see if there is any kind of relevant issues that might be popping out on that hardware itself. Usually it's how I go about when I buy a piece of hardware. Being a CPU, motherboard, GPU, I always check everything the best that I can to make the most informed decision that I can in terms of hardware. And then continue with issues. Now we go for NVIDIA. Similarly, they are going about, again, it just goes down the ladder of shenanigans with NVIDIA. The latest one is the RTX 5060 non-TI launch. Similarly, reviewers already have those cards, mainly from AIBs, but NVIDIA is only going to launch the drivers or the supposedly review drivers at launch day of of the card itself. We got here hardware unboxed, doing what is best for the consumer. I also saw J2Cent's video about this because he also has a card there. They are not getting drivers to make the review on time. And again, the launch of the 5060 is going to coincide with the beginning of Computex. So 20 or 19th of May, 19th of May. So there is no time, even if they manage to get those drivers at launch day, to try and make at least a a review for the next day after launch. It's not possible. A lot of the people that usually do these kind of reviews and they already have the GPUs, they are going to be covering Computex also. So it's putting, again, it's not a good move from NVIDIA, especially in terms of consumers. It's not about if they have the drivers and the GPUs for review. Is more about the consumer because, again, 19th of May, these GPUs are going to launch and people don't have a reference or place of reference to check any kind of reviews to see how it can be compared with already existing GPUs on the market. That's the main thing here. I'm not sure if they are doing a lot of fanfare regarding the launch of the 5060, but I think even if they the sequence of events of getting the GPUs and the drivers to do the reviews, I think even if the reviews came out with enough time to do so from the reviewer side of things, I think this GPU is going to be a shit show. Um, from what I've been seeing from the Blackwell launch, I think we need at least to wait for the 9060 XT and non-XT, see how it goes. There is some rumors about Intel launching also the rest of the Battlemage GPUs. Again, it's rumors. I don't think there's anything official, if not mistaken. But yeah, this is not going good. We'll have to wait and see. Again, this is going to be a shit show with the 5060 launch. Again, they are being butchering their own. They're being shooting themselves in the foot since the launch of the 5090. That event there, they shot themselves in the both feet, on the arms, on the shoulders, on the knees, and there is a it's a situation that J2 Sense they did a fair there, a tech fair. Nvidia didn't appear. They were invited. They didn't appear, but AMD and Intel had representatives there. And they, in the giveaways, people they were giving from Nvidia GPUs. Nobody was clamoring for those GPUs, but when it came to he made an example of the 9070 XT. Everybody wanted that one, which seems very interesting. The feedback, even though it's a very small number of people, there is at least the most dedicated people that are following up more on the news. That again, they know that Nvidia. I don't know what they did for the 5000 series. They thought they were in a good position, but yeah, they fumbled, to say the least, the launch of this 5000 series there. But yeah, in terms of hardware, this is what I got here. In terms of games, we got a little bit more tidbits of information from Remedy regarding Control 2. I really did enjoy Control. I did play by myself and with the expansions, which was the Foundation and all expansions, if I'm not mistaken. I really did enjoy how they tried to explore paranormal and the connection that has with Alan Wake itself, and how they connect everything there. Very interesting. The gameplay was solid enough for me. Third-person action shooter kind of thing there with some abilities there. Very interesting how they went about it. And I did enjoy the game. Very good graphics still to this day. I played like a few months ago that game last year, if not mistaken. So it still holds up in terms of how it feels. But yeah, in terms of Control 2, you got I think, a good example, even though it might be a little bit out of necessity in terms of production budgets. It seems that Control 2 will have a budget of 50 million euros, which I think translates almost to $60 million, if not mistaken, around about that. And they say that this might be a good Remedy game budget for them to keep themselves not only afloat, but to start making some money. Even though it's going to cost slightly less than Alan Wake 2, I don't remember. I think it was 75 million euros that Alan Wake cost to make, if not mistaken. Again, don't quote me on that. I think it was a little bit higher than this. I think Control 1 cost, they only spent 30 million euros to do that one, the first Control, if not mistaken. But I think, yeah, you should need to encounter better ways of going about doing good games. I think Alan Wake might be a very decent game, even though we know they have some, lack of a better term, some DI infected stuff on certain characters and the way they try to gel that into the story to justify a Saga character, if not mistaken. Saga Anderson. Again, they try to justify that a little bit there, but I think from what I've seen from the game, it looks pretty decent in terms of story. I think it expands a little bit more that side of Alan Wake, even though again there is they try to do something there between the two characters, which is interesting in the storytelling, but I think they fumble a little bit there trying to justify certain insertions of certain things there in terms to get a good checklist from Sweet Baby Inc. I'm not sure how much that affects sales, and they the CEO Virtala said that again they only recent surpassed 2 million copies from Alan Wake 2. It was launched in 2023, at least 2 years ago, give or take. But yeah, people seem to forget that Alan Wake 2 only sold 2 million copies because at this moment in time, it's still an exclusive to Epic Game Store. If it sold on Steam, or if it came on Steam, even if it was only an Epic Game Store exclusive, timed exclusive, I think it was sold at least double those copies there, because people were very. If it launched at the same day and time, I think it would sold very well because people were very curious about Alan Wake 2, even though if they didn't like what they were introducing on Alan Wake 2, I think people were curious enough to take a chance there and buy the game. And I think they did a mistake in taking Epic Games money to be an exclusive there, but I think it was they have to be forced their hand there because again I think more about the budgetary constraints that they have there with Remedy. But yet it seems that Control 2 is now in full production. Let's see how it goes. I hope it is a good follow-up of the first one. I did enjoy the first one really well. There is a lot of stuff that they can be explored. Yeah, and there's going to be an offshoot, the cooperative multiplayer FPC Firebreak or whatever it is. I think it happens at the time on the Control. You have a couple of chapters when the Firebreak goes out. And again, I suppose this is like you know on the story that there is some teams trying to put out the hiss and everything, and I assume this is what it's all about there. But yeah, hopefully it's going to be a good follow-up, Control 2 to the first one. And usually when it's on sale, I do recommend for you to get the Ultimate Edition from Control. I think it's a good game there. In terms of other stuff, this popped out at least a couple of days ago. I remember seeing this gameplay, medieval zombie survival. It's called God Save Birmingham, and it's around 20 minutes of gameplay. Very interesting what they're trying to do here. It's kind of a 15th century kind of Birmingham inspired thing there. It's going to be a plague breaks out, similar to a zombie apocalypse thing there. And the most interesting thing is how you utilize medieval ways of going about and avoid the plague or the zombies and surviving with a lot of mechanics. There is exhaustion, there is hunger's first, which is usually normal, but there is exhaustion. You can get several status effects from injuries to drunkenness, which stifles your movements. Again, there is a lot of stuff. And from what I understand, this might be kind of a roguelike experience because on this 20-minute exploration stuff, supposedly the character die at least a couple of times. So I suppose this might be, if they introduce a little bit of roguelike style permanent upgrades, so you can ease up on the runs regarding I don't know, running the horde. And then, of course, you got the crafting mechanics. You craft food or you make food. You craft barricades to protect yourself. You need to rest. And for that, you have to make your home base, let's say, or at least it seems that it was the home base. You need to make a stronghold there to go throughout the night. Again, there is noise involvement, I think. I think that the zombies don't see from the gameplay there, but seems that noise has some influence there. Very interesting mechanics there. But yeah, you can check out. I will leave, of course, the link of the article here for you to check out. Very interesting what they're trying to do there. Hopefully, it's a good game. We'll have to wait and see when this game comes out there. It's going to launch first on early access, so I will always take a lot of precaution regarding taking a plunge on early accesses. Then we got Mafia, the Old Country. Finally, some good news here. The game itself seems back to the roots of the first Mafia, it seems. Again, it takes a little bit before the first Mafia in terms of timelines. So this is 1920ish or 1900s Sicily. So in the OG land of the Mafia. So you're a scruffy looking guy working on the mines, and then you work up your way up to that. I assume. The good thing, it's going to launch August 8th. So far the gameplay mechanics seems solid enough from the gameplay that I see, and the most interesting stuff is the fact that the game is going to be launched at $50. The full base game, and then $60 for the deluxe edition, where they have some outfits and the usual stuff that they and skins for, or the special editions from the weaponization, the weapons that you have on that you use on the game. But yeah, well, the interesting thing here is the fact that it's going to be launching at a very decent price, even though this game seems to be more linear, not that open world. It will try to be a little bit more focused on the story of this character, and try to follow through a thread. Again, I will assume you have like I don't know, secondary missions or side quests or something like that to do to, I don't know, to improve your character and explore a little bit more the world there. But I think it's going to be more focused on the kind of a linear style there. Hopefully, it's a good game. The price seems pretty decent. We've been seeing a trend here and there in some games regarding this, even though this is 2K, which is usually the ones that, again, 2K is going to publish GTA 6. I don't think we know the full price of that game, but usually, again, it's a good price so far, $50. The same thing as Clair Obscure. Again, it's possible. Again, as for example, Control 2 budget, if it keeps under control that budget, I think you can do excellent games. You got, even though Clair Obscure Expedition 33 has some performance issues, mainly regarding optimizations with Unreal Engine 5 mostly. I think, again, it's an excellent game from what I played. It does things a little bit different that we've been seeing, and it's a very accessible price. I think so far from what I played, it justifies the price that I paid for. I did get the 10% off on the early bird discount there when it launched, and we've been seeing a lot of more publishers do that when the game launches, put at least 10% off, so people get captivated on taking a chance on that game. But yeah, hopefully we will start to see some reasonable prices, especially on the AA sized games. To It's a way to compete in the market. But yeah, hopefully this is a good game. I will wait for reviews, and we have until August to wait until then. Then we got to review the what is called the Midnight Walk review. Again, I covered a couple of times this game. Seems very interesting, the art style that they're trying to achieve there, kind of stop motion, Tim Burton-esque kind of inspiration drawn from here. The game itself seems pretty decent. It's from WCCF Tech. It was the first review that I saw here. Got an 8 out of 10. The only thing is the plot itself seems rather simple, which I don't think it's, again, it's not the main thing for this game. A few somewhat finicky sections and some areas could use a map. So even though it got some complaints here, I think they say that the world has some quite interesting lore, beautiful, unlikely eerie visuals, well-tuned level of tension, very satisfying puzzles. Stealth is mostly solid, effective soundtrack, and reasons to replay. So there is something to say about this game. I will try to see if I find more reviews and maybe do an update on this one to see if it is worth keeping on the wish list, and probably try one of these days there. I have a huge backlog then. And then lastly, we got, before I did the video here, I was trying to check if I missed any news here, and similarly, that Stranding 2 on the beach has gone gold officially. Good to know. It will come out pre-order digital for early it's come out June 26, early access June 24. Again, so officially it's on gold. Kojima has been posting on X that he was tweaking the game to see any kind of optimizations need to be done. Again, I've been avoiding watching anything regarding Death Stranding 2, except for the first trailer that they launched, I don't know, almost a year ago or something like that. I've been avoiding that because I didn't finish up playing Death Stranding 1, so I don't get want to get spoiled on the story side of things regarding Death Stranding. But it looks visually stunning as Death Stranding 1. I saw a clip, a GIF. There is some different methods of traveling, like a railway stuff there mechanism. You got the roads that you can use, but there is like a suspended airway, a railway thing there, like a suspended train kind of a sorts there, very futuristic. Again, I don't want to get spoiled. I'm avoiding getting to watch any kind of videos or too much discussion on that. But yeah, the game will launch, of course, time exclusive for PlayStation, and I will assume I don't know how many months or even if a year afterwards it will come to PC. See if I can finish the game by then, the first one, so I can jump into this second one as soon as it's available. But yeah, this is what I got in terms of news. I dragged a little bit the episode here, but yeah, let's go for some gaming deals. We got Cuphead 40% off. There is some rumors that second one entered in production, something like that. Again, this is a very hard game, very technical, get good kind of a game here. But yeah, overwhelmingly positive feedback since it came out. We got Dead Space Remake. It's still on sale, 75% off. I do recommend it this price point. There is only a few performance issues, mainly on the sorry, while loading assets in some areas. You might notice a hiccup here and there. Other than that, plays very well. Lore expansion a little bit more than the original because this is a remake. We already had the free games there. But yeah, I did a gaming series on this one. If you are curious, you can check out the first episode to have an idea how the visuals and the combat and the tension, it all lives up to the first one. Got again, Death Stranding Director's Cut is on sale, also 50% off. I do recommend Director's Cut here. We got Dredge, 40% on the deluxe edition. We got Firewatch. I do recommend this game, 50% off. I think this is the limit. More than this, I don't might not be good enough to buy. But yeah, 50% off. I think it's an excellent price. I did a gaming series on this one. I do recommend. It's a very interesting experience. A lot of it is narrative driven. But yeah, I really did enjoy this little experience, and you can check out the first episode to have an idea what this game is about. Then we got Near Replicant, 60% off, and Near Automata, 60% off. I need to start after one of the plans is after Clear Obscure is to start off with the Near games and see and start off with those two and play them back to back to see how it goes. But yeah, got a lot of stuff to do. And then we got Nine Souls, not Souls. It's 40% off. This seems to kind of 2D combat focused. I don't know if it is a Metroidvania here, but yeah, overwhelmingly positive feedback, and it's 40% off. Very interesting animation style there. Then you got Observer System Redux, 70% off. So I think I think this is a good game. Again, since it came out, at least people were claiming this is a pretty good game, and especially at this price point, I think it's a good experience here, and it comes from Bulber Team. Then you got the Star Wars Jedi games, Fallen Order and Survivor. Fallen Order is 85% off, so basically $6 or so. I do recommend at this price point if you kind of enjoy Star Wars. I'm not a huge knowledgeable guy in terms of Star Wars, but I did enjoy the original trilogy. I appreciate the prequels. I didn't like the free movies. Star Wars Force Awakens. It kind of recycles the first original game. I didn't play a lot of Star Wars games. It's one of those that I missed out. So no KOTOR for me. I never played that game, but this one seems very interesting. What they're trying to achieve. The story is serviceable. Got some performance issues here and there on the PC side of things. It was not optimized to the extent that it could have been. Usually, it's an EA plague that it happens there on the developer side of things. But yeah, it's playable. There is no, at least I don't remember having any game breaking anything there. But yeah, very interesting. The story is serviceable, and the sequel improves a little bit more on those aspects and expands more in terms of the gameplay systems, the world itself, the story. It's a continuation of that, but in terms of gameplay systems and what you do on the game, expands a little bit more and to a certain degree improves, even though it's not a perfect game, of course. A lot of this one, depending on the hardware, you can encounter more situations where you got more plagued stuff in terms of the stutterings or even loading assets or the such. I didn't have a lot of those issues from time to time. It appeared, but if you follow up on the gameplay series that I did, but some odd stuff there. But I don't remember having. Maybe I have just one game breaking stuff that might happen there, but I don't remember having one at the top of my head. But yeah, do recommend. Again, it's a cheaper game. The deluxe versions don't add anything extra. It's only like skins and the such there. Doesn't have any extra content, playable content there. But yeah, I'm going to wrap up here with a plug on my Patreon for extra support. That extra support is more in line for me to be able to maybe try to get a better storage solution so I can have backups of stuff that I do for my clients, and of course some extra space for the videos that I do for the channel. And with all that said, I hope you have a wonderful day. Now we'll see you in the next one. So until then, Kunamy Master out.